This episode of Bradley's House Podcast is brought to you in part by our friends at HayGoodFarms.com. HayGood Farms' goal has always been to provide hemp products that improve your quality of life, and their process is really the difference maker. HayGood Farms handles your product from the dirt all the way to delivery. This ensures a top quality product every time. And all their hemp comes from the same process, from the same facility, ensuring consistency in every order. Check out HayGoodFarms.com. That's HayGoodFarms.com. And check out their incredible line of gummies, cartridges, oils, skincare, capsules, and even a line of products for our furry friends in the pet care section. The point of using CBD is to make sure that you're not putting bad stuff into your body. So check out HayGoodFarms.com. You can see their lab results, reviews, and read more about their process and what makes HayGoodFarms.com the leader in the CBD and hemp industry. We thank HayGood Farms for sponsoring this podcast and working with the Nowell Family Foundation in getting Bradley's House open to help us in our war against opioids.
Hello, this is Adrian Young from No Doubt, and you are listening to Bradley's House Podcast.
Nothing is impossible, but certain things are highly improbable. I don't think I'll meet your kind again, not in this lifetime.
Hello guys, welcome back. Come on in, make yourself at home, as you should when you're a guest in Bradley's house. I am your co-host, Jarett Orr. She is the executive director of the Nowell Family Foundation, and our host, Ms. Kellie Nowell. Kellie, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good, Jarett. How about you?
I'm always super good. Honestly, Kellie, when things are good, they're good. When things are bad, they're still pretty fucking good, right? Like, you gotta stay positive.
Absolutely. It definitely helps. Plus, no one likes, hear all your negative crap. But there is a time and a place for being honest about how you feel. Although this probably isn't it. So, lie to me, Jarett. That's all I want. Just lie to me.
Right, I'm super. I couldn't lie if I had to. Things are going good. And I'm always super because we're getting ready to record another episode of Bradley's House, which is usually the highlight of my week whenever we get a chance to sit down and chat. Mostly because everybody knows that I'm recording, so they have to leave me alone, so my phone doesn't go off, my kids don't ask for anything, and I can just sit here and chat, and it's always awesome because you always line up an amazing house guest for me and our listeners. So, Kellie, who are we hanging out with today?
Today we have a very special guest with us. He reached out to me, actually it was years ago, because ever since we started the foundation, this band has been huge supporters of us and always just so encouraging, sending messages, wearing our merch, taking pictures, helping to promote. And then Rob reached out to me recently and let me know something that I didn't know, which is that in addition to being the vocalist and guitar for the Ruffolos, he's also a licensed clinical social worker. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to really tie in the music and the social work aspect and all that kind of stuff that we're always talking about. So I'm excited. I think this will be a really great show. So Rob, Casas, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to have many different conversations today.
Absolutely. Cool. Absolutely. So let's start with you. Where are you from?
So me personally, I grew up in Pico Rivera, not too far from Long Beach and everything. Mm-hmm. I've born and raised there, my family. I recently moved to Pomona, California. Me and my wife, we got a house. We have our dogs here. Trying to get the life going and everything, and it's going well. It's going well.
Nice.
We just recently got married. Shout out to her. It's been awesome. Thank you.
When did you get married? Was it during the pandemic?
Actually, kind of. March 5th of this year. Was that two months ago? Yeah.
Very recent.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you both.
Thank you. Yeah, we're both very excited.
Was it stressful trying to plan a wedding with all the uncertainty of the COVID stuff and the regulations and all that?
Yes and no. We've tried to plan it out ahead. There was another wave that happened around 2 months ago that made some guests nervous, and we understood, and it's perfectly okay. But everyone that showed up, we had a beautiful time.
Oh, good. My oldest son got married in October, and so it was, the same kind of thing with all the craziness of never really knowing for sure, okay, when it comes right down to it, and it was outdoor and all that, but still all that certainty thrown in with
definitely
wedding planning is never fun.
Mm-hmm.
And how many dogs do you have?
We have three.
You do? Yeah. What kinds?
One's a husky, full-bred husky.
Wow.
One's a husky wolf dog, a little mix of wolf in her. And the latest addition is a German shepherd mixed with a pit bull.
Oh, how cute!
Yeah, it's a nice little pack. We call them a bitch pack because they're all girls.
Sounds about right.
Well, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Okay, so Rob, let me ask you. Just had your wedding on the 5th. Obviously, music's a big deal to you. Mm-hmm. What song do you and your new wife dance to at the wedding? What was your wedding song?
It was called "Distant Travelers" by Mike Love.
Oh, okay.
It's a story about two distant travelers traveling the universe and finding each other in different lifetimes. It's a beautiful song.
That sounds beautiful. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
Distant Travelers.
It's awesome.
By Mike Love. Mm-hmm. I've heard a few Mike Love songs. I'm not sure if I've heard that one. Excuse me while I make a note here.
All good.
All right. So, and then how did you get started playing with the Ruffolos?
So the Ruffolos started in 2017. I've always played music my whole life. At 9 years old, I started guitar.
Wow.
The reason I started guitar was honestly because of Sublime. I picked up a CD from my cousin, and it had Blue Dog on the cover and everything, and I liked it because I love dogs. I listened to it, got into the style of music, the style of playing. My brother, my dad, my uncle play guitar. They've always forced me to want to learn guitar too. So I said, could teach me these songs. They did, and that's how that started.
Wow.
Time went on, and Ruffalo started with two of my buddies at the time that are no longer in the band right now. Life happens. The drummer, original drummer Charlie, has a family now. He's with another band. The original bass player Marty, he's moved to New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
But in 2017, we all knew each other in passing. The bass player had a band that broke up. He asked me, hey, I have this bar gig on a Wednesday night. I need a band to fill it. It could turn into an every Wednesday night thing if we do good. I know you have songs. I called the drummer. We all met up. We made a set, played one night, and then it all of a sudden turned into a 7-month residency at this bar called Mulcahy's in Whittier.
Whoa.
And we partied every Wednesday night. We were rock stars on Wednesday, as we called it. And it was something really cool to do. We were young. We enjoyed it. People came, supported us. We wrote different style music. Anything and everything, from covers to originals to oldies to jazz to... There was no rhyme or reason to what we were doing other than let's just have a good night on a Wednesday night with all our people.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And that was just 2017? Is that what you said?
Yeah. That's when the band technically started. So I think we were playing a little bit before 2017. But the name Ruffolos and that everything started then.
And where does the name come from?
Mm-hmm. That's a funny story. There's a comedy skit from Comedy Central called Key and Peele. He talks it back to dogs. He says, I'm going to name my dog Ruffalo. For whatever reason, I laughed with my brother. I looked into it. I typed it on Google. I think I spelled it wrong because I think normally Ruffalo is with an A, like Mark Ruffalo. So I put an O, and on Urban Dictionary, it said Ruffolos means cocks. And I laughed. I thought it was the funniest thing, and I'm like, that'd be funny. It's a dog reference. It's cock reference. If we tell people we're the Ruffolos, they're not gonna know. They're saying we're the cocks, and we're just
funny.
We're just dicks on stage that are just trying to have a good time. So it took off. And we tried it at a show. We played a Wednesday night. We said it, and people laughed. They asked what it meant.
Funny.
I said, "Well, look it up," and the bar went into laughter even more, and it was a good time.
If you aren't selling your own labeled lollipops at the merch table and selling Ruffolos suckers, you're totally missing the boat here, brother. You can have that one. You can have that one. I don't need.
I'll throw credit for you. I'll throw credit. I'll send you a box.
Yeah. You need to be selling Ruffolos suckers at the merch table.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny. That's a good idea.
Oh, well, before he starts telling some dick jokes, which is what Jarett is famous for, tell us about your tattoos. You sent me some pictures. You've got some amazing artwork.
Thank you. Yeah, I've always told people if I ever got a tattoo, it'd be the Everything Under the Sun album cover. Everyone laughed like that's a really big tattoo to get for your first one.
Yeah, it is intricate and lots of color and lots of filler. Okay.
And I just always felt like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go big. My wife introduced me to a tattoo artist that she went to most of her life, all her life. Crown and Dagger Tattoo in Lancaster.
Nice.
I went there, asked for it, he did it, and then it turned into a bunch more.
And it wraps around your leg, right? Like your calf?
It does. So my whole calf is the album cover of Everything Under the Sun, and then my shin is my own version that I asked him, can we do the same concept but with the moon? I know Opie's the one to do it, but I didn't know I could get in contact with him at the time. So I had this guy draw it up, and now I have this whole version of the sun, the moon, waves, and creatures and fish. It's really cool. I love it.
It's really spectacular. The colors are incredible.
Yeah. And it gets a lot of. I'm always wearing shorts. I'm always wearing rainbow sandals. Doesn't matter where it's at. I'm probably wearing shorts and sandals. So everyone sees it, and at shows it's pretty cool. It's a big tribute for me with where my music comes from, where the band music's come from, my inspiration. People get to see that. And it even led to getting a tattoo of the Ruffolos on my back. As cliche as it is with Bradley doing the Sublime, it's important to me. Music's very, it's a part of who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm telling you, these tattoos, I'm looking at pictures right now while we talk, they are a commitment. I hope everybody understands these are not like little tattoos.
Oh, and I was excited when Sublime reposted my calf on the page. Yeah. I was so stoked. Oh, that was so cool.
It's really beautiful. Well, we'll have to post some pictures of these when we post the link for the episode, so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I have a few ideas for some really cool Sublime tattoos as well. I just haven't figured out where on Anna's body I can put them.
You can put them on Anna.
Yeah. Well, I feel like she's got 614 tattoos, and I have 0. So she is more like her palate is ready for it, is what I'm saying. My tender skin, I don't know, but I think they'd look better on her anyway.
Well, she does have a lot of fabulous tattoos, and actually, Anna and I tried to convince Jarett to get a tattoo with us. We were all going to get matching tattoos a couple weeks ago in remembrance of a good friend of ours that passed away, but Jarett was not going for it.
It's so funny you say that because I almost texted you this morning and said, remember the tattoos? That almost happened.
No, it seriously almost happened. We walked into this tattoo place and the guy said it was $150 minimum per person, cash only, and we kind of looked at each other like, okay, never mind. Like, we just wanted something little, but anyway, we'll do it one of these days. I'm inspired by your tattoos now, Rob. Maybe next
do
time.
Do it. It's a time of your life, and you always remember it. It's important.
I know.
It's
I have
cool.
2, and I love them. But one of these days maybe we'll tattoo Jarett in his sleep or something. That's super ethical, right?
I mean, Anna she's a tattooer. I mean, she's done tattoos. She has tattooed herself. I'm sure she would have no problem.
Tattoo artist, but
well, she's tattooed others with wonderful. She spent 6 years doing tattoos. So.
Oh, I didn't realize she did it like.
Yeah, no, she can give a real tattoo. The fact that she fucked around and put them on herself was just because she was bored on a Wednesday one day. But she was paid. She was a professional tattoo artist.
Gosh, I'm always learning something new about Anna.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right, so then tell us, Rob, if you would, how you ended up getting into being a licensed social worker.
Growing up, my oldest nephew has a disability called Shaw-Gibbs syndrome. It's a rare genetic disorder that I think there's only maybe 50 known cases in the world right now of it.
Wow.
We originally, or my sister, they always thought it was a form of like autism, which it is in a general sense. But the genetic part is Shaw-Gibbs. When genetic testing became a thing, they realized that.
Wow.
So I've always been around families, friends, companies, services, social workers that would come to the house with my sister.
Sure.
Living at my parents' at the time, and when she got her own place, I'm always over there with her. I learned a lot about the helping profession. It's something that has a special place in my heart. So when I went to school, finished high school, went to college, went to Whittier College, and they had social work. I did not know what it meant. I had an idea. My sister kind of pushed me like, hey, you should probably look into that. Because I originally wanted to do music therapy, but they didn't have it. So I did it. I tried it. I fell in love with it. I enjoy the concept of networking, community, grassroots organizations. Even more than that, I've always had this vision of creating some sort of work in the field for supporting children, teens, and adults with special needs. Particularly autism. That's where my not expertise, but my experience comes in, I guess you could say. So I did my bachelor's in social work. Doing my bachelor's in social work, I got to go to Cal State Long Beach and get my master's done in less than a year in an advanced standing program.
Well done.
So thank you. So yeah, within 5 years of my college education, I got all that knocked out. Did internships at a drug and alcohol agency called Los Angeles Centers for Alcohol and Drug Abuse. Did an internship at Whittier Union High School District. That led to me getting a job at where I work now. It's called Heredia Therapy Group. It's an agency that supports almost all insurances. There's a couple that we don't. But pretty much any insurance, there's a therapist that could work with people. It's mental health therapy. From couples to families, individuals. I am a social worker there now as a licensed clinical social worker. I was an associate at first, doing all my hours, got it done, passed my test. And yeah, I'm here doing mental health therapy. I do a lot of work with Kaiser as a partner with them. I do a lot of work with regional centers, if you're familiar with the term regional center. That's the agency in California that works with children with special needs. So I get referred a lot of clients through regional centers, directly through Kaiser or through regional center themselves.
God, that's fantastic. What I loved one of the things you said in your message to me, that you're working on developing a nonprofit making mental health therapy inclusive and accessible to all. That's so important.
We found a lot of barriers, at least me working here. Not that we're causing it, but it's in general with insurances, in general with people trying to find access to mental health therapy. It's hard, and people don't realize that it can be easy, but it's hard to go through all the hoops that insurances can cause sometimes. It's hard finding the right person to connect with. I think a lot of people forget that you could go to a therapist, and if you don't like them, you could request someone different. Rather than just not do therapy anymore just because you had one bad encounter with someone. I really promote that self-advocacy with all my clients, that advocate, even if it's me just let's have that conversation, and if I could help you with anything, self-advocacy is that biggest tool and key to success.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a musician and as someone who works in the mental health field, I would imagine you see things obviously through a different lens as it relates to addiction and a lot of specific challenges that people in the music industry struggle with. And, there's typically some sort of a mental health component, whether it's depression or anxiety or, a whole host of things that quite often are being, people are self-medicating for. But it seems like there's some specific challenges, obviously, in the music industry. What are some of the things that you've come across?
Well, definitely, there's different takes on that. I guess you could look at it with different perspectives of, one, being addiction is something that it's chemically imbalanced, where it's kind of, some people are more prone to it than others, based on maybe genetics, maybe on, you could go into the whole science aspect of it, that it's hard. It's hard to break out of it because of just someone being more prone. The other aspect, back to self-medication, you said that's a strong one. That's a big one. A lot of addiction does stem from people self-medicating unresolved traumas, unresolved experiences. They might be well aware of what they're self-medicating, or they might not have any idea. There's so many avenues and aspects that conversation could go on for a very long time.
Sure.
In terms of support, though, like in what I see, it's definitely out there. I really commend you guys doing all the work that you guys are doing and building up this nonprofit for the Family Foundation.
Yeah.
It's needed. It's needed,
Yes.
and being very specific to that community, it's a very important goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's, everybody struggles. It's certainly not unique to the music industry, but because musicians are such influencers, we thought that, this.
No, definitely. And if that helps anyone make that one step to get the support they need, then that's really, that's more than we could all ask for. I always see, even with therapy, like, not that I've stagnated or will ever stagnate, but I've always said, if I could help one person in this field, then I've done my job in this world.
Yeah.
And just, you never know what that one life supporting them could do for the rest of humanity.
Absolutely.
Never know.
Absolutely. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day who's been just a tremendous support for me over the years. And she's been clean for 33 years. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And she's impacted so many people's lives. And I was struck by the fact that, when she got sober, when she got clean 33 years ago, she was doing it for herself. But look at all the lives she's impacted in those 33 years because of that decision.
Yeah.
And and so I think that's, that's something too, where when we, make a commitment to improve ourselves or to get better, to work on ourselves, it really does spill over into other areas, into our family and our friends, and can have a real lasting impact.
That's for sure.
So how often do you guys play together with the Ruffolos? Like, is that something that you guys are able to do a lot, or is it just sort of a hobby thing? Or
definitely, I guess continuing with that, when the other two members, the drummer had left, we had a new drummer, my buddy Timmy. He's always been around. Gave him a call. It's a funny story of when he's always been a family friend, basically family member for the most part. Called him up, hey, can you join the band? He's like, yes, I'm in. And we had a new drummer. We had a big show. The bass player had to drop out. We had a keyboard player at the time, Gabriel, Buzz. I asked him, he's like, I have a friend that could play bass. You should give him a call. He's like, I don't know if he'll want to keep playing. He probably will. We'll see. He filled in for the show, asked, hey, can I join the band? And now we have Nick.
Nice.
We have a whole horn section now. So, like, everything kind of grew progressively as we continued playing since from 2017 to now. We've done a lot of different shows. We've done a lot of different events.
You've got a pretty big horn section, don't you?
Yeah. There's a trio: sax,
awesome.
trumpet, and trombone. They're called the Brass Boys. They're really amazing.
Nice.
They play with a No Doubt cover band all the time. They're awesome. Yeah. So yeah, there's 8 of us now. We have a girl singer that does backups. Her name's Bree. We all just kind of started slowly grouping together. We did a last album that we released, and everyone's pretty much on it. Now everyone's on board. Like, no, let's make this really become a thing. So we're not re-imaging, but we're really sitting down and strategically like making our next steps. We're strategically making music in terms of, all right, how will this be released, rather than just record and release. Like, let's have plans in place and to promote it. Reach out to the right people, and I really think we're in a very, very positive place. We just got featured on Ska Punk Daily. They have like 80,000 followers.
Yeah, congratulations.
Instantly, we got like 400, 500 followers from it.
Whoa.
It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very cool. So we're in a cool spot with our music and everything we're doing. That's surrounded by a lot of very important people and fun people to me.
Right on.
So if you had to describe your sound, who are the influences? What's somebody going to hear when they finish listening to this podcast and they go search the Ruffolos?
Back to that, and back to another reason I reached out. The first thing people say is Sublime. Not that we want to break out of that. We love it. I love it personally. I have a tattoo. And that's why, like, a lot of the songs probably sound that way, too, because that's how I know how to play guitar. It's the same style, the same upstrokes, the same rhythm that I learned. But it's Sublime in the sense that I would argue we don't have a genre yet. We're ska, we're punk, we're hip-hop, we're rock, we're jazz. There's so many different avenues that we take our music. And just like how Sublime did, just grabbing from all these different places to make this innovative sound, I feel we're doing the same thing. As much as maybe someone could argue maybe we're not, I feel we are, because of all the influences we have from not just myself, but all the members in the band. There's a lot of cool things that are going to come. But long story short, people say it's Sublime. We're slowly getting Fishbone now, because of our horn section, how energetic they could be.
Yeah.
Which it's very cool too. It's just that whole scene that's us. This is us.
That's awesome. And you talked about the healing power of music in your message to me. Obviously, that's a big thing for us with Bradley's House, is being able to incorporate music into recovery and therapy and all that kind of stuff. And you even mentioned you were considering going to school for music therapy. Have you had some specific experience in that?
Yeah, so back to my oldest nephew. He receives music therapy. That's where I learned about it. There's a whole avenue of therapy that involves music, and it might not seem how people may think about it when you hear it in a general term. But when you really look at it, music therapy could help people with their motor skills, with rhythm.
Yeah.
Music therapy could actually help reconnect different wires in the brain that weren't functioning before. Back to motor skills, back to balance, back to rhythm, back to even speech. In terms of addiction, music could be a very powerful tool in terms of storytelling. I know I've read a lot about what you guys are doing in terms of utilizing music as a tool for recovery, and storytelling that's it. Being able to in therapy, with like cognitive behavioral therapy, there's a thing called a life timeline. So I do this verbally with a lot of clients. Let's do a life timeline. We talk about your earliest memories, and we literally just go year by year, as much as you can remember, as big or small of a memory you have. What are we going to find? We start mapping it out visually, maybe on a whiteboard or something. All right, here's significant points of your life. Here are down points of our life. And you start seeing this line kind of go up and down like a heartbeat machine. And there's a lot of powerful stuff that comes out of that solely from the storytelling. Like,
Sure.
okay, after this high, this low, why did this happen? Is there trauma involved? Is it something that you feel has been maybe forgotten that was important or not? Or is it something that, oh no, that's just an event that played this role in your life? I think storytelling in that sense could be used the same way with music.
Right.
You could look at it, imagine a group of people just in a drum circle and telling their stories, and all right, today we're focusing on our past. Today, our present. This next song we're going to make together is about our future. And being able to reflect on that, imagine what could come from that.
Right.
Imagine just the meanings, the symbolism, there's a lot you could grab out of it. That's why music's so beautiful.
About a year ago, I started working on just like a playlist that was like the soundtrack of my life, like different songs that kind of exemplified different times in my life and what I was going through, what I was feeling. It was really therapeutic to just kind of dissect those, those major moments, those milestones, or those times in my life, and to associate a song, because obviously music is a big part of my life. So to be able to associate a song with that and kind of put it all together and look at the progression, it was really, really helpful.
Oh, that's awesome. And speaking of that, there's one experience I've had in being a licensed clinical social worker therapist here. I had one person that struggled verbally in terms of maintaining an ongoing sentence. There's a lot of substance there, but it would take a very long time, and if we tried to really dive into it, we'd only get so much through the 45 minutes we have, 50 minutes we have in a session.
Right.
So we started using music of, all right, whenever there was a strong emotion, let's bring in a song that describes it. And when I would start reading these songs and looking at the lyrics even more than the song alone, all of that emotion description was there. And now we were able to really drive into our sessions of like, okay, this is how you're feeling. Perfect.
Right.
Let's jump into this. And there's so many avenues, and it's awesome. All the different things you could do with music.
Absolutely. Well, I've said this before on the show. So we had my therapist on at the beginning of the year, and one thing that she always talks about is that instead of college funds, we should all start therapy funds for our children, because everybody could benefit from it. And quite honestly, I mean,
definitely.
Certainly not putting down college, and it's important for, learning discipline and expanding your knowledge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot with that.
But most people could benefit more from that therapy fund than they could a college fund, in my opinion. So definitely something, that's helpful. Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. I think Jarett has one last question for you, something he always asks anybody on our show who's a Sublime fan.
This one is, there's no wrong answer here, Rob, but just know that I will judge you secretly.
Sounds good. Can I ask you the same question after?
Oh, yes.
Of
That's
course
a great idea.
Okay, all right, cool. Let's do it.
Well, here, I'll just give you my answer right now is Jailhouse. So now for you, if you were to come across somebody who has never heard of Sublime, not familiar with anything from their catalog, and they were going to give you an opportunity to play one Sublime song to let them make their decision on whether they're going to listen to this band or not, what Sublime song would you play for them?
I like to play Lou Makes Friends. And the reason for that is because, Pass Me the Laser Beam, within it, there's, you could jump into, this is what they were doing with bringing other lyrics into their songs. Lou Makes Friends, I like the dog. And then just, in general, the storytelling in that song of just having fun, talking about your bandmates. I like that song. I really do.
I love it, too.
Nice.
And if you played that for me, I would be hooked. No, we have not. I would 100% be hooked.
I can tell he's impressed with your answer.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it.
And back to having that tattoo on my calf. It's that album has done a lot for me in terms of my own healing, in terms of just listening to music, learning storytelling, kind of taking Bradley's approach on writing songs. It's helped me a lot. It's really cool. I'm very appreciative.
I can totally relate to that album, and it means so much to so many diehard Sublime fans because, I mean, after Brad passed, we got a bunch of we got Stand By Your Van, an acoustic, and they did a best of Secondhand Smoke, which was pretty cool, but, it was 10 years later, because that album came out in '06, Everything Under the Sun, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm shooting from the hip here, but I'm pretty sure it was '06. And so it was 10 years later, and it was just this amazing mix of songs that you had never heard before, and also songs that you have heard before, but just Brad's different takes on them with just...
And there's that rawness to the recordings. It's very... I enjoy kind of hearing. It's almost like you're in the living room with them where they were recording.
Yeah,
it's cool.
It was just so amazing to be able to get fresh, new Sublime songs, and just and there was the radio interviews on there, and it was an amazing compilation. So I know exactly where you're coming from from a Sublime fan's point of view. That was an awesome opportunity to introduce a ton of new shit that I don't know if we would have gotten any other way.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Kelly, really quick before we work towards finishing. With the nonprofit, and as you being like the executive director, just for my knowledge, and this might help people that listen to, I got a bunch of social worker friends. What barriers did you jump into with making your nonprofit? Because like I'm having barriers with like waiting on the IRS to confirm us like as nonprofit status and things like that.
Yeah, when we first started the foundation, we didn't know anything about nonprofits. Both my dad and I have a background in business, but nonprofit has a whole other.
It's a whole new world. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It took us about, I want to say 6 or 7 months, I think, to get our nonprofit approval. So that it is a lengthy process, and we were warned that it would take about 6 months.
Definitely.
So that was a challenge. Also, there's so many more things. Like, we had paid somebody to set us up as a nonprofit and assumed that they did everything that was supposed to be done. Over the next year or two, I started discovering all these things.
All the little things,
done. Yeah. So God bless Google. If it weren't for
if it was LegalZoom, then we're going through the same thing.
It's a challenge. It really is. But and there's so many different hoops to jump through and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, and then just not knowing. I had a friend who worked in nonprofits, so I sat down with him, and I really just tried to just soak up any information I could, talk to anybody who was running a nonprofit, find out some of the things that they did that helped them be successful and that kind of thing. And so for us, it was really just a general learning curve, of getting started. And I'm still learning things all the time. And I wish that I had been able to just stop everything in my life and, put my job and my family and everything on hold, and maybe, go to school and learn about nonprofit management and that kind of thing. And at some point I would like to, but we just were so focused on getting started and getting the house open and what can we do to help people. And so that's really been our focus this whole time. And we're not doing it because we're experts at nonprofits. We're doing it because we have a heart for people that struggle with addiction. And so sometimes, that's all it really takes to kind of get to motivate you. It's not easy. I work a full-time job in addition to running the foundation full-time. So, it's a lot of work, and it has to be something that you're passionate about. Otherwise, I can't imagine why anybody would do this shit.
Yeah.
But,
I hear you there.
Yeah. But, there's so many people struggling, as you see, and it's not just addiction, but mental health, all these different things. People are struggling and they don't know where to get the help. They don't know where to get the information. I love that you focus on self-advocacy. That's huge. But most people don't even know where to start, don't even know the questions to ask to find the help that they need or the resources and that kind of thing. So I just, we've always just sort of focused on being a conduit, on being able to provide connections for people. And slowly but surely, here we are. It'll be 5 years in July since we started. And we're hoping to have an announcement very soon, but things are things are going really well, and I think we're getting close to being able to open the house. So, it's just, I wish I had something more concrete, but it's just like kind of learn as you go. And it's not always perfect and it's not always pretty, but we're helping people, and that's really what it comes down to. As obviously, you put in the work and you make yourself available, and find the needs and do what you can to help it. Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's
my strength comes in grant writing, and I started writing grants and working on it, and realized there's a lot of paperwork that had to be done before you could even get your name out there. And it's like, oh shoot, all right, well now I'm a nonprofit maker, and let's work on this. Let's figure this out.
Right. Well, we're always looking for a good grant writer, Rob. So we'll definitely keep in touch. So tell me, if people want to hear more by the Ruffolos, where can they go? What's your website, your social media, all that?
Yeah, if you could check us out, our label, we actually made a label because we record all our music ourselves. At my new home, I have a tracking room, and I have all the recording equipment to save money. There are a lot of horror stories with some recording in the past, but now we have it all, and we're able to do it. So the label's called Murano Beach Records. It's an homage to Murano Beach, if you've ever heard of it, back in like Pico Rivera, Whittier. A lot of people went to this area where it was just water running under a street, and they called it a beach, and that's the history of it, and we love it. It's where we're from. So Murano Beach Records, our Instagram's at Ruffolos Soldiers. We're on everything: Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. We do have a website that's under the label. Our Instagram has a lot of our information, and we have a lot of things coming up. We just got on Bands in Town. We just actually just met with the original tour manager of Real Big Fish, and got a lot of insight and advice from him, and had a very cool meeting. We're trying to network and meet the right people. So a lot of big things coming from us, hopefully.
Wonderful. And any shows in the coming weeks that we
Long Beach, the Pike Bar.
Yes.
The Pike Bar. We will be there on June 4th, Saturday, June 4th.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we will be there, and then actually Sunday, June 12th, we'll be at Alex's Bar in Long Beach.
Oh, I love Alex's.
We have a lot of people pushing us to get back to Long Beach, so there we go.
Great. Well, shout out to Alex. We absolutely love him. Love that venue. Good people. Great spot to see a show.
Anytime you guys want to come and provide any of your vendoring, we'll definitely hook you up and promote for you guys. Let us know.
Thank you. Well, we're definitely excited to check out more of your music, and I'd love to
please
come
do
to a show sometime. Right on. Well, thank you so much, Rob. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and share some of your experience and your knowledge. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you live.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys.
Thanks, Rob. Well, Kelly, once again, you've pulled off another amazing guest, and what a perfect guest for everything that we talk about here. He's just got so many different backgrounds and experiences. It was just so cool to be able to have somebody come on and kind of know both of our worlds.
Absolutely. And such a great guy. We really appreciate all the support from the Ruffolos that we've gotten over the years. Like I said, they were one of the first to reach out and want to be a part of what we were doing with the Nowell Family Foundation of Bradley's House. So we certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, and I hope he does get those lollipops out at the merch stand and he's selling those Ruffalo suckers, because I think he's missing the boat if they don't. But either way, it was so awesome to have them on. And guys, if you are listening, make sure you go ahead and follow their social medias and know everything that's going on with them. Anna will be nice enough to share whatever links that are available in the description of the show. It means so much when you guys can support our guests. They come on here and chat with us. You guys go ahead, check them out, and get introduced to something maybe you weren't familiar with. And of course, the Ruffolos have some shows coming up. You mentioned, right, Kelly?
They do. In fact, you can get all of their show dates on their Instagram, Ruffolo Soldiers. That's RUFFOLO Soldiers. I know they're going to be at Pike Bar in Long Beach on June 4th. They're playing an afternoon show at Alex's on June 12th, and Sea Salt in Huntington Beach on July 1st, among others. Those are just the some of the Southern California dates. But definitely, if you're in the area, go check them out. They'll be a great show.
Yes, absolutely, guys. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this interview, you know why we're doing it. We're here to spread the word about the Nowell Family Foundation and raise funds to get Bradley's house up and open. You can go ahead and click on the Linktree description in the show description, and that will get you to all things Nowell Family Foundation. You guys can find out how you can share the podcast, pick up some merch off of the website, and also stop and see us at Cali Roots coming up at the end of May. The Nowell Family Foundation will be out there, and we'll have t-shirts and pins and hoodies and hats and all sorts of really cool things. And like I mentioned before, if you guys can come and just buy it all on day one, then we'll have nothing left to do.
That's right. Except have fun and enjoy ourselves, because Cali Roots is always a blast. In fact, this year they're doing 4 days because they missed the last 2 years due to COVID. So make sure you grab your tickets for May 26th through 29th. We will be there all 4 days, as Jarett mentioned. And you can grab your tickets at CaliforniaRootsFestival.com. That's CaliforniaRootsFestival.com. We are super looking forward to it. Jarett will be out there with me, as well as Anna, our producer, and it's going to be a great weekend. So if you do come, make sure you stop by and let us know that you have been listening to the podcast, because it always makes us so excited, and I'm always stoked to know that somebody's actually listening.
Yeah, it's so cool when people come up and say, "Oh, we heard you guys on the podcast." So
it really is.
Make sure you stop by, pick up some merch, and remember, guys, hoodie prices go up 25% when the sun goes down. So make sure you come. What do you mean they do not? They can. That's all right. They'll be the same price all day, but make sure you stop by and say hello, pick up a sticker, get some merch. We'll be out there, and I am definitely looking forward to it. The lineup is just stacked, so it's going to be an awesome time, and happy that Cali Roots is finally back.
Yes.
And guys, if you want to hear your brand, your company, or your upcoming event featured here on Bradley's House, you can go ahead and reach out to us at bradleyshousepodcast@gmail.com. We would love to be able to do that and share that with all of our listeners. I'm super excited about a lot of stuff that's coming up. Kelly, we're going to be announcing a lot of things. I know we keep saying that, but guys, I'm telling you, there's things that are going to be announced, and you are going to be happy. So super excited about a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes with the Nowell Family Foundation and Bradley's House. So keep an ear out for all of that. Make sure you're following everywhere on social media, the Nowell Family Foundation, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. There's always updates that are being thrown out there. Kelly, every single week we end with a song, and this week we are going to be letting everybody out with a song from our guest. This is Special Yesterday from the Ruffolos. Guys, make sure you check them out. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jarett Orr. She's Kelly Nowell. You don't have to go home, but it's time to leave Bradley's house.
Can you see it all the way through? Would change now, would you go and take the